Hi, everyone. In this episode, I'll discuss different ways of grading college students. Tests are everywhere in your campus life. How many times do you take a test? Or how many times should the test be given? Or are tests the only way of grading students? Let's discuss these issues. One major event for all university students is the final exams. A lot is at stake. Depending on the credits they earn, they'll be able or unable to take the courses they wish for the next semester. Or even worse, some might be denied graduation. Big problem, isn't it? Due to a lack of credits. However, from a purely educational viewpoint, grades are just secondary, which I believe, and the primary importance lies in how much knowledge they have actually absorbed and how much they can think based on what they have learned. That's what I call higher education. I don't know what professors think about the tests, but according to what I knew from my experience, some professors are not interested in their students' grades, but others are keen on their grades. Some even argue that a grading system, in essence, is a tool by which to instill knowledge and skills into students. Again, a lot is at stake for students, so the grading system should be taken seriously. Universities offer a variety of grading systems. One system requires the students to take one single final exam at the end of the semester, and that's all. If they miss this one opportunity, they will fail just like that. One easy imagination is, what if they get sick on the test day and must stay in bed? Some measures should be taken to help them out, but it would be tough luck if not for such measures. For someone like me, who really detests taking exams, this simple, straightforward grading system is appealing. But still, I cannot see a clear solution to such contingencies or unexpected happenings. From the professor's viewpoint, if there's only one opportunity to test their students' achievement, making a test will be a serious issue. It should include main ideas from all over the course material, but the time is limited for the test. Therefore, professors only partially test the students' understanding anyway. In that sense, too, giving one final at the end is not a sufficient system. On the other end of the spectrum lies the policy of giving several tests during the semester. Details from the lecture can be tested, so their grades will better represent the students' abilities or understanding. If they are given 5 opportunities, for example, they have less apprehension or they don't have to be worried about unexpected accidents or illnesses. If they miss one, they can recover the loss by working harder on the other tests. However, you are not careful enough if you are happy with this system. As a college student, you are supposed to take, well, at least a couple of courses or even more every semester. It should be noted that the number of tests being given during the semester will be multiplied by the number of courses you take, then is it possible to put up with such pressure? If you were a college student who had to take big tests every month, would you be happy with your campus life? After all, you have a test. You have several tests every month that affect your grades. The answer would be similar if the same question were to be asked of the professors. They would have to make 5 different tests and grade them. As I remember my college days, I barely survived my academic life only because we had only one final for each course. Because as I said in the last episode, I almost ignored my majors and focused on learning English. If I'd had to take 5 tests for each subject, I would not be speaking English like this now. But there's more to the grading system than a mere number of tests. Some professors include class participation in the grade. In other words, if you are asked to give a presentation and you do it well, then that will be a big plus. On the other hand, if you don't actively raise a good question or new perspective or work well with others in a group work session, your final grades will suffer. In a nutshell, it is not the test score alone that determines your grade. I think this will compensate for the inadequacy of only one administration of finals that we discussed earlier. Even though the test is given one time, students are asked to perform a range of activities, each of which is to be accumulated into the grades. That way, students will be given a solid reason to get up early and attend classes. They have to attend classes to perform something in front of the professor. One positive side effect of these activities is an implicit preparation for the finals. As you work together with others, you're gradually making more friends to study with in preparation for the finals. That would serve as a safety net, sort of. If you study alone with no useful information distributed or shared by others, you will wrongly focus on what is not important and miss what is really important. Your grades will be severely affected. What about me? Well, if I could talk about my own preference, I would do everything by myself. So I would prefer my professor not to include, please, class participation in my grade. I don't know why. Maybe I was used to working on my own, even from the time I was in elementary school. So despite all the advantages of class participation, I'd be happy if class participation were not encouraged. It is therefore very, very ironic to find myself as a language teacher asking my students to participate in classroom discussions, work in pairs and groups, and prepare for the test by organizing a study group. Based on my instinctive and anecdotal analysis, it seems that more learners tend to prefer working in groups. You know, it is fun for some people to work in groups. I know that. However, since not all of us like to work that way, we often encounter the all too well-known issue of a free rider problem. That is why people like me argue against including class participation in the students' grades, let alone against giving all members the same grade equally. Just in case you are not familiar with free riders, they don't actively or voluntarily participate in the group work or try to avoid responsibilities until the last moment while receiving the prize together with the other members of the group. Even a top school MBA program may have this problem. As you can easily imagine, Japanese students could be seen as free riders if they are not cooperative. They have enough experience, sure. They have enough experience and knowledge to contribute to the group, but they don't express their ideas. Or they just wait until they are assigned to a certain task. When they get together to prepare for the presentation, they tend to abandon the opportunity to become a presenter in the first place. I can't do this, things like that. Such a passive attitude leads others to question your readiness to cooperate. Well, everyone knows by now that such a passive attitude mainly comes from the inability to speak English. But considering the world standards as they are, it is our goal to be active even in difficult situations or because the situations are difficult. You've got to cooperate with one another. And that can be a major reason you study abroad.